Hello again, and welcome to the next part of this working with the Olympus 35 RD. And when I'm actually in the lens, the whole lens assembly, I would think, okay, the stiff aperture ring would need some clean, and I will re-lube with a grade 10 grease. So I just discovered when working with the camera that the aperture ring was a bit, really stiff, not soft and buttery. So I would just show you how you can actually go into it and disassemble part of here and simply take out the aperture ring and clean and re-lube, because there's really a lot of dirt around here. The focusing is really good. It's very soft without any problems. So it's just the aperture ring itself and that part of that I need to take apart. And how to do that? Well, let's see how it looks on the back here. There is one screw up here which holds this cam ring here, and there are two screws down here where where there is a steel ball to make the click. And I would guess it's the way they have put together the aperture ring assembly. And there is a lock pin up here which can only sit in one position as I see it. So I will simply try to take out those parts. There's not this one and not this one because it belongs to the focusing system, and this is part of the I would guess this is a part of the flash sync contact, but not quite sure. I think it is, yeah. So when turning this ring and set it to something like A, you can see the flash. Oh yeah, it must be the flash contact here when setting on to A here. So when I move it, it's 1.7, and then I go to the A. The contact here will not be on, but set it on aperture 1.7 and just up to something aperture 16. It will be fully closed here. But going back to A, or the flash sign here, it will fully closed, and when set to A, it will be open, this contact here. But there's not any other thing that we need to take care of. No, nothing really. Maybe there's something down here with this gap. Well, I can just set a small scratch in here, so I know where this go away, where this fork kind of part should sit. So if I make a scratch here, I will have a good idea where it belongs to. And another one over here. So it must be fine. So now I know where the parts should sit, and just to be sure how it actually should sit, maybe it's also necessary to make a scratch down here, and so now there is a mark here where things where this fork has to sit correct, just in case of something was not proper put together. But let's see. Try to disassemble. Just put away the shutters. And this one comes out without any problem. Let me say I haven't been into this part of the camera yet, so it will be a challenge. There's a special kind of screw. And the two down in the bottom here, those two screws, take care of the steel ball. I guess there is one here, but what I would guess is when I take the cam ring here out, then the aperture ring here itself has to be moved somewhere here. There is some kind of, if you look here, there, and maybe there is another one over here. Yeah, it is difficult to see. Yeah, there's one here too. So those gaps here you possibly can see. This one here and this one down here has to, if I turn the aperture ring, it should come out of place. Well, we'll see. First, this tiny part here, need to unscrew that. That's a kind of a spring. So there, and the holes should be easy to, there is a kind of a spring here, this one here, and now this piece of brass comes out, nothing special. Better have things together. Now, and this the tiny steel ball here, and now the cam around here, which I think it should be possible to just lift out. Yeah, that's correct here. So it is. It can only sit in one position. So how is the aperture ring itself? Yeah, it's a bit stiff. So, but I need to take it out. So if I turn the ring, is there any stop off somewhere? I don't know. Okay, so the way it works is that we just see if I can put it back again. So if I set it to, let's say, the flash sign here, there, and simply move the flash sign just over to here somewhere. is actually where the 1.7 the 1.7 aperture is actually going right to where this frame is starting. So when set it to 1.7, you can lift off the aperture ring itself, and so it comes out. And how much dirt is there? I would guess there's a lot here. Yeah, you can see here a lot of old shit, dirt and so on, and it simply needs some kind of cleaning. And to do that, I will just clean the cam ring here and the aperture ring itself. And for that I will use some Isopropylalcohol 99% and just do a good cleaning with a cotton bud and simply, wow, a lot of dirt here. You simply need a re-lube. So there it comes off. And there is also a lot of dirt around here. So, and on the other side here. So there. It's not really that much, but I'm sure it will be much better when it's clean and put in new lube. So, and then it's fine. And now the cam here also needs some kind of cleaning. It's difficult to just put it in here. Just a little too small bowl, but I think we will make it. It can only be better. So, and this here. So, and now it looks fine. And then the front part here will need a lot of cleaning. You can see all the old lube. I don't know what kind of that is. I will just use some grade 10 grease because I think it will work pretty good. I mean, it works pretty good with the Helicoid, so I would guess it will work really good with this aperture ring. Wow, it's really dirty and a bit dry. I mean, other can maybe do it in a different way. This is just what I think would be fine. I mean, there is no way to fully disassemble the focusing system because it works pretty good. So only disassemble what was actually necessary. So there. And finally last cotton bud. It works pretty good. And then, so we are ready to actually re-lube the aperture ring. There's some dirt in here also, and so there it is. Yeah, so that's fine. And then I can just add a little. Maybe I should also take this fellow here just to do it. So, and now it's fine. And then simply use some of this grade 10 from Japan Hobby Tool. It's really good for many things. Also not camera parts. It's really white, so maybe it's a bit overexposed in the video. But I will show how to add it, and then use a small cotton bud. Some of those tiny one, and just a tiny amount. It's not necessary to use an enormous amount of lube. So there, and that should be fine for now. Just a thin grease film. That should be more than enough. And let's see when I put this ring on and the aperture 1.7. You can see here should go all the way over to here, and then it clicks on. So there. Let's see. Oh, I mean, it looks like it's really good. Give it some movement. So, and I would think those 3 notches here, 3 pins or whatever it calls, can also have a little tiny amount. That should be fine. Where's the numbers here? Yeah. And it works pretty good. Maybe there's something. I see the point. It should also have some grease on the side of the ring here. I mean the back side of the ring. It should have something. Just as I see it. So there. And then give it some movement. So, wow. So this is much better. So it should be. And then I can actually just put the cam on here. Not yet, because yeah, it should be possible, but I think I will also I will add some grease here on the back side of the cam. This is the way it should sit when you put it in, just like this one here. But I will simply add something on the back here, just a tiny amount. Because it goes against the aluminium, so it needs some, at least something. So, and there is also where this cam over here, because it goes, this side over here is going where this shutter, I mean the flash sync contact is. So this one can be put on here. And then move the ring. I think it's there is fine. And then add the parts here. Where does it go? Here. This special. It should be sit. I mean, the steel ball has to come on first. I mean, not the steel board, but this, yeah, the steel board. Sorry. Yeah. So it needs some, just a tiny amount of lube here. Not really much. Just somewhere here. So, and then add the tiny steel ball here. Put this on. And then this funny shaped tool, it needs to, you hold it like this, it should sit like that. I mean, it can only sit in one position, so just put it on here. and the steel ball will go through it. So there, and then we where's that part here? I will just add this part here. So it goes, oh. This part goes on here. So to lock the ball in place. Something like that there. It will be interesting to see how good this will be. And then I think I'll take a tiny screwdriver. I mean, smaller screwdriver. Tiny hair. Don't know where they come from. Now, and just have a kind of put a tweezer on here so this piece of metal will not flow away. So there. Don't tighten it yet, because you will need to put the other screw in, but it was just to have the things in place. So there it is, and let's see how good it is actually. Then I will just add the little screw here on the upper side of the, and I think I will gently tighten it. So, but how much has it helped? I mean, a lot. It really needed that. So I can tighten the two screws here and say, wow, that's fine. And the things, this little brass thing sits correct. And it's very much easier to, I mean, it's still stiff, it has to be, but it's still much better. Now I can move it without breaking my fingers. So that's it. I will continue with the actually assemble the whole parts into the camera with the lens and all that stuff around here on my desk. So we have a working camera, especially with a working shutter. Wow, that's great. But that's all for now. We will see you soon.